America, America, land of the free, home of the brave, the melting pot of the West. A place where dreams come true. A place where you can achieve anything if you work hard enough. America is known for a lot of things, but I want to focus on one of the many building blocks of the American story: manifest destiny. There is a famous quote that says, "History is written by the winners." This is a succinct way of explaining who gets the privilege of writing the narrative in the wake of any conflict. America is not an exception to this rule. Though at its conception, Americans had just learned the importance of independence, the country began to emulate the tyranny from which it had split from. After America consolidated its colonies, they looked west to attain more territory. Upon meeting the Native Americans, the American settlers trampled over their sovereignty with zero remorse, taking land, killing cattle, and massacring the native people. This was the beginning of American colonial reign. Reign because, as Barker and Lohman put it, settler colonial invasion is a structure, not an event. Settler colonialism persists in the ongoing elimination of indigenous populations and the assertion of state sovereignty and judicial control over their lands. The settler nation is complicit in this process until the sovereignty of the victim nation is asserted and returned. Those in charge were not ignorant of the foul morality of their acts. Though invasion was necessary to satisfy the American government's imperialist urges, the government still needed to justify their expansion to the general public. They needed to spin a narrative of manifest destiny. Manifest destiny is the idea that the West was there to be owned, that inevitably the land where the Native Americans currently occupied and cultivated should and would be taken by America, the quote-unquote civilized settler nation. The perpetuation of this destiny came in all sorts of forms. One of these ways was media. Movies where there was a hurtful stereotype of Native Americans and a virtuous depiction of cowboys became very popular. Richard Wheelock said, "Mass media filmmakers tell the story, educating Americans about indigenous people, filling the void in knowledge with images that support the mythic basis of the nation's identity." Identity being the key word, the narrative says more about the settler nation's preferred identity than the Native Americans. Another way was art. This image here is a painting by John Gast named American Progress. I first saw this picture in high school where I learned about Western expansion. We learned about Native people being moved off their land, but the weight of that was lost on me back then. I was very distracted by a crush I had in class, so the strife of the Native people was put on the back burner. This picture stuck in my mind though, and now that I have absorbed the situation fully, this picture is poignant in its rhetoric. The picture is jam-packed with images. We see an ethereal woman floating and leading the American people west, or left. She holds telephone wire representing technology. There are trains, farmers, hunters, and travelers rushing in the trail of the woman. Farthest to the right we see the effect of the expansion. Clear skies, big cities, and boats. This crowd is closing in on the left side where we see a dark sky over Native Americans, buffalo, and other animals running away. And I would too. The woman is gigantic, the Americans are ruthless, and worst of all, I see a school book in her hand. No, but seriously, of the new meanings I ascertained from the painting, the book could actually represent one of the most egregious parts of American settler colonialism: residential schools. Residential schools were an attempt to assimilate native children. At these schools, there was a 50% mortality rate, culture erasing practices, and horrendous acts like electric chair testing. This art portrays so much rhetoric on this topic. And this art actually portrays a lot of the ideas of manifest destiny and the people that it hurts. I choose to interpret this art in an ironic way, as a snapshot of what the Americans were taught to believe to make expansion look morally just. Knowing that the narrative has been doctored and biased is a good start to decolonizing, but there is more to be done. The next step is action, and remember what Nikki Sanchez said: "This history is not your fault, but it is absolutely your responsibility."